Good evening, Ms. Jovita Pungesdika. My name is Theodora Federova, and it is my pleasure to welcome you here today. I'm so delighted to have you with me to participate and share about going to a restaurant during pandemic. Also, thank you to Mr. Fernando for giving this opportunity. As we know, pandemic been hitting us for almost 2 years now, and everything have been turned upside down by this coronavirus. In order to prevent ourselves from COVID-19, we are restricted to go out and forced to stay at home unless we have something important to do, such as going to hospitals, buying some groceries, essentials, and etc. People are also disabled to encounter each other as this virus rapidly growing and spreading. However, as time goes by and people are now getting vaccinated, we are now starting to be able to go to malls again and dine in at a restaurant, as long as we follow the health protocol. So, without further ado, let's ask Ms. Jovita Pungesdika about her experience. So, for the first question, I would like to ask you, how often did you dine in at a restaurant before the pandemic happened?
Okay, before the pandemic happened, I think I usually went to a restaurant about 2 until 3 times a week.
When you dine in, with whom do you usually go?
It's very actually because sometimes I went out with my family, but most of the times I will go with my friends.
Do you have any favorite restaurant to visit before this pandemic happened, and what makes you choose that restaurant?
Favorite restaurant? I don't think so. I usually just went to any random restaurants that come to my mind.
So, in response to this situation, have you done your vaccination?
Yes, of course, like we all need to be vaccinated too, since we don't have any idea on how long this pandemic will last. But put that aside, I think it is indeed important for us to get vaccinated too. Like we can clearly see that vaccine and social distancing combined could really help us to end this pandemic too. I know this vaccine doesn't 100% protect us from COVID-19, but at least it makes me feel more secure than didn't get vaccinated at all. And we will also be more flexible and easier for us to visit mall and other public places as well.
As COVID-19 happens and we cannot do anything freely as we usually do, did you ever dine in at a restaurant during this pandemic?
Yes, but of course it's decreasing in regards of the frequency. Besides, my mom also cook daily, and then I don't meet my friends as much as I used to do, so I think there's no reason for me to eat outside.
From what I see, there are many new restaurants that opened during pandemic and it went viral on social media. So have you ever tried one of them, and what do you think about them?
Yeah, I know like there's been a lot of restaurants that having their openings during the pandemic, but I haven't tried much. The one that I already tried is the Lukumades restaurant and Kampung Kecil at Semangan. And I think their food tastes good, and there's also a lot of people coming to the restaurants as well, but I think the restaurant has been following the social distancing protocol as well.
So, do you prefer the old restaurant or the new and viral restaurant?
As I mentioned earlier, I don't have any preference on any particular restaurant, so I think I'll just go with whatever it is.
In order to prevent COVID-19, what things do you usually consider doing before dining at a restaurant? Do you prepare anything before dining?
First thing first, I don't really go out to public places as much as I used to do. But if I really need to go outside, the things that I bring are hand sanitizer, disinfectant, and my own tissues. I also ask for hot water to sterilize the utensils before I eat.
So, what things do you consider before choosing a restaurant?
I think I'll choose a restaurant that have fewer people on it, and then I'll also prefer a restaurant that follow the social distancing protocol strictly. And I also prefer outdoor restaurant.
As you mentioned earlier, what kind of outdoor restaurant? Could you give an example?
Do you know Pick 2?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, so Pick 2 has this food court, and the food court has an outdoor seating area. And I think it's the best choice if you want to go to dine outside. Because as we all know that outdoor seating area has a perfect ventilation system since it's outdoor.
But from what I know, don't you think Pick 2 is too crowded?
Yes, it can get too crowded on like rush hour, so I can suggest you not to go there on that time, like around 6 to 8 p.m. I can say.
So, other than Pick 2, what other place would you recommend for me and the audience?
Other place like outside restaurant.
Yes.
I couldn't really think any, but let me think. I'm sorry, but I couldn't really think of any.
It's okay, let's just move to the next question.
Okay.
Are there any sanitation tips for people who wants to dine in at a restaurant?
Yes, you can always ask for hot water to sterilize your utensils, and then you can always choose the food grade hand sanitizer because it's safer for you too. And I think don't forget to wash your hands before you eat and use your mask if your food haven't arrived yet, and don't spend too much time inside in the restaurant.
So, that's all for our interview with Ms. Jovita Pungesdika. We can conclude that vaccination become the most important thing needed to do in order to protect ourselves against COVID-19. Other than that, there are some health protocols that we need to follow, such as wearing a mask, sanitize ourselves before and after then eating, don't spend too much time outside if it's not necessary, and ask for hot water to sanitize the utensils. Thank you for coming to the interview, and it is my pleasure to have you here.
You're welcome, it's my pleasure as well.
I'm sorry if there are any wrongdoings or words. Stay safe and have a nice day ahead. And should we do the new normal high five?
Yes, of course.